Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, January 5th, 2023, after 3 p.m. Eastern. The Friday night reverse aging call is going to be a combination of some things. As I call them, humdinger. It's going to cover some things that this planet, those who are awake, should start embracing. The God energy, unbeknownst to many, is the feminine energy. After boarding a bus or train, you won't carry the luggage, will you? You will put it down likewise. Surrender everything to God. She will protect you. Amachi. This planet has been encrusted in the attitude that femininity is not an addressing. Femininity is in all of us. The feminine power and energy of the God, Mother Nature. It all goes to the feminine power and energy, the balancing. And this energy is throughout existence and beyond. People equate femininity as through the woman. See, the woman has masculine and feminine. The man has feminine, masculine. It's a combination. And I think we know now what happens when it gets out of balance. The word surrender is often greatly misunderstood. It's not about, and a lot of people, they believe that when you surrender, you failed, right? You give up. You're weak. And it's not about being weak, failing at life, resigning from the world, or losing your power. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Surrender is one of the most empowering, liberating, spiritually fulfilling experiences life can offer us. Now, it's not like, here's the enemy, right? And I think people get this confused. So you're going to surrender the enemy means you're weak and you've given up everything. You're done. That's not the interpretation and understanding. Surrender is much more of an enlightening experience than the mind can imagine. It takes tremendous courage, strength, and patience to totally surrender our egoic desires to our higher intelligence and guidance. We have to trust that it is there and will guide us through. Yet, the really good news is that when we fully surrender, it frees us from any suffering we are experiencing instantaneously. It frees us instantaneously from any suffering we are experiencing. Surrender is the gentle release of our ego's constant effort to get somewhere better than what is here and now. It is bowing down to the divine essence within ourselves, which is only found in this now moment. Surrender allows us to instantly open up to radical joy, freedom, and the unlimited feeling of abundance in life that we deserve to experience. Bodhidharma. To seek is to suffer. To seek nothing is bliss. To seek is to suffer. To seek nothing is bliss. Those who can fully surrender to any thought, feeling, or emotion they are experiencing in this moment will create such a profound clarity inside themselves that they know without a doubt they have found paradise on this earth. When we consciously surrender to each experience, knowing it is the divine unfolding itself within us, we are in essence allowing this universe to guide us and support every decision that we make. If we persist in thinking that we are alone, separate, and must strive harder to manifest what we want, we are fighting this universe and swimming upstream. To consciously, all of us that are awake to a certain extent, to consciously co-create our reality, we must choose to first surrender to it. Through surrender, we will release all energetic ego roadblocks which were hindering our manifesting abilities. If and when we cannot surrender, it is because the ego is afraid to evolve. See, and some of us, the ego is sitting there saying, oh, you surrender, you'll be taken over. We can't have that happen. All these things and all these breaches come in. The greatness of a man's power is the measure of his surrender. William Booth. The greatness of a man's power is the measure of his surrender. Deep down, we are spiritual warriors. Yet, our egos are still running the show. The ego covers us in emotional armor just in case we might get attacked and need to defend ourselves. Now, if we always remain covered in armor, we block the divinity that is trying to envelop our bodies and minds. With our guards up, we remain stuck, unable to spiritually grow because we are so attached to our ego's survival strategy. When we surrender to this universe, we consciously take off our armor, drop our shields of defense, giving ourselves full permission to be vulnerable and feel everything that arises inside us. This perpetual opening up to feeling what is what creates deeper trust and connection with this universe. Only in this space are we able to experience the profound 5D frequency of divinity, a constant state of deep inner peace with our entire past and every probable future is what brings forth enlightenment. A constant state of deep inner peace with our entire past and every probable future is what brings forth enlightenment. We will find that through relinquishing any controlling energy, protectiveness, of defensiveness, this universe will take our hand, guide us effortlessly toward the spiritually liberating life our souls have come to earth to experience. He who thinks he is the doer, the doer, he who thinks he is the doer is also the sufferer. Ramana Maharishi. Surrendering to the divine being that we are means we are letting go of any need to dominate, control, or manipulate this universe. Surrendering to the divine being that we are means we are letting go of any need to dominate, control, or manipulate this universe. We are trusting its all-intelligent movements through us and everyone. It's quite crazy to believe that we could possibly control something as large, intelligent, and massively complex as this multi-dimensional universe. Why would anyone want that much responsibility? We are yet a single wave in this magnificent ocean of conscious, intelligent energy. And it's not in our purpose to manipulate or be in full control of the whole ocean. It's much easier and more fun to go with the flow and be free, to find acceptance of oneself. Deeply, eternally loving compassion for others yields to unending bliss. Deeply, eternal, loving compassion for others yields to unending bliss. This creates the real peace of mind we are in need of in the end. It is impossible to control anybody in this world. We're talking about the gods, not the body, let alone our mind. So the most enlightened thing we can do is hold sacred the intention to surrender completely to that divine essence, which is always at the core of who we are. There's no need to remain in illusionary control over anyone or anything when we can instantly manifest more joy and freedom by merging with the ocean of existence within. Make the commitment today to stop thinking that you have to be in control of anything. Consciously step back, relax into your body, be free from having to control any inner or outer process. Just be with whatever arises, accepting it as it is, appreciating the lesson it's providing you, and allow this universe to gift you with your dream life on a silver platter. When we let go, genuinely, right? There's a lot of fear. It takes a lot of courage to let go. It takes a lot of courage. It takes everything you've got to surrender. Surrender to the God that you are, the pure consciousness, the evermore, all of it. Let go of fighting upstream. We've all been taught for eons to fight upstream, right? Because we've been taught that, well, you've got to accomplish things. You can't just continually be a failure and do nothing. The point is that when we surrender, everything comes to us, for us. Happens for us. It's tough, isn't it, when you dip into that? Because ego mind's there. It says you can't do that. You don't know what will happen to you if you surrender. A lot of bad things can happen to you. And we all get that. None of us are exempt. So you make the commitment today to stop thinking that you have to be in control of anything. Consciously step back, relax into your body, and be free from having to control any inner or outer process. Just be with whatever arises, accepting it as it is, appreciating the lesson it's providing you, and allow this universe to gift you with your dream life on a silver platter. We have been trained to fight our divinity tooth and nail. Reality is simply the loss of ego. Destroy the ego by seeking its identity. Because the ego is no entity. Because the ego is no entity, it will automatically vanish and reality will shine forth by itself. Ramana Maharishi. Reality is simply the loss of ego. Destroy the ego by seeking its identity. Because the ego is no entity, it will automatically vanish and reality will shine forth by itself. The most phenomenal news of all is that practicing surrender is the most enjoyable experience any of us can do. The magic happens the very instant we tell ourselves that it is safe to let go of everything. This taste of instant freedom may feel a bit scary at first, but feels, oh, so good later on. The pure joy of letting go, of needing to be right, being in control, being happy, successful, having the perfect relationship, or the power to manifest whatever you want in your life is a huge relief. This taste of instant freedom may feel a bit scary because it does, because of the ego. But feels really, really, really good later on. And the pure joy of letting go of needing to be right. How many of us need to be right? Being in control, being happy, successful, having the perfect relationship, or the power to manifest whatever we want in our lives is a huge relief. Grace is always there. You imagine it is something, right? You imagine it is something somewhere high up in the sky, far away, and has to descend. It is really inside of us, in our hearts. And the moment we affect substance or merger of the mind into its source, the grace rushes forth, sprouting as from a spring from within us. Ramana Maharishi. Surrender is the cure for anxiety, depression, and many, many, many illnesses that we think are incurable. When we let divinity run the show, an enormous release of tension instantly occurs. We stop pretending to be the general manager of this universe, and this opens our minds to see and feel the bigger manifestation plan, which we previously could not see. Imagine submerging your feet in a hot bubble bath after a long, hard day, walking around in the city. It's so healing to relax, let go, and realize that we don't have to do anything at all but just enjoy. This is the quality of surrender. It's a natural experience that takes over us when we truly stop trying to just let go, right? Where we truly stop trying and just let go. There is such a sweet, calming feeling that enters us when this universe immediately fills us up with whatever missing feeling that we're seeking. Those feelings of emptiness caused by the constant striving, pushing, and effort to attain X, Y, Z are suddenly forgotten, and we are filled with a peaceful, healing, good vibe. The deeper the letting go, the more expansive and more expansion, inner peace, and natural joy will come rushing in. It is just a matter of how much we can trust in ourselves and our connection with this all-intelligent divine universe. Once we trust it 100%, we understand that it knows how to meet our needs and manifest our desires faster, easier, and more enjoyable than we ever could imagine. The creative process is a process of surrender, not control. The creative process is a process of surrender, not control. Julia Cameron. So everything that we've been taught, just about, is the opposite of our true path. Everything, just about everything that we have been taught is the opposite of our true path. When we surrender, we are not giving up. This is a misconception, misunderstanding. When you surrender fully, 100%, you have complete confidence in yourself, faith in yourself, and trust in yourself and this universe. Then, when you place out a feeling that you desire certain things, they become almost instantaneous. And the current state of humanity, it's the opposite that occurs. We fight every inch of our lives. We fight it every single step of our lives. That can become very daunting and overwhelming for us. We fight our lives. We fight the life. We don't embrace the life. We fight it. Where do you think stress is born from? Stress is born from us fighting the life, not embracing it, not accepting it as it is. First comes acceptance, then the joy and the bliss follows. Many of us through the ego mind believe that, well, you know, if I let go of everything, what's going to happen to me? See, they believe that they're losing something, and they're not. In fact, they're solidifying many things. In this massive change on this planet, and it is massive, many of us are confronted with our own reality and the ego mind. You're going to be destroyed. It's over for you. It's the end. All these low frequencies, because of the insecurity of the ego mind, we're seduced into believing all of this. So it becomes, for some of us, very confusing, because When we surrender, it takes all the courage that we could ever muster. All the faith, confidence, and trust in ourselves. Now, by surrendering, people believe that you're losing, right? You've given up. And it's the opposite of that. Because when you surrender to the God that you are in that body, and you know that the universe has you 100% 24/7, eternity and beyond, right? And you have this faith in yourself, and you have this faith in the universe, then you begin to understand everything from the beginning of that surrender. You begin to understand that it's already yours. It never wasn't. The difference for many on this planet is that they will get on that hamster wheel. And seems like forever will continually run on the hamster wheel. Now, when some get off the hamster wheel and look around, they still see bars. So they go, they get back on the hamster wheel. But then there are others who get off the hamster wheel, and the bars melt. And then they go, oh, I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's out there. So I'm going to get back on the hamster wheel. And there are those who get off the hamster wheel, look at the bars melt, and they leap out of the cage in pure exuberance, positivity, genuineness. That's the surrender. That's the surrender. So we have this, it's kind of like saying there's got to be more, and that's the God within you doing everything it can to communicate with you in the universe, is saying, why are you fighting the current? The current was designed to effortlessly take you through this life. When you are fighting the current, what is your primary goal? What is on your mind? To get to the top. Whatever that top is to you. So it's a choice for every one of us. And the temptation to step deeper into ego mind it's the strongest it's ever been on this planet. To pull you in to the storm. It's easy to do. Many are seduced into the storm. Some aren't. Some know that there's no reason for them to go into the storm. And by surrendering to the God they are within the body and stop fighting the current and go downstream, the energy of the storm is eliminated. And then the storm no longer exists. Interesting, hmm? But we've been taught the opposite. Got to fight. Get into that storm. Get into the fray. Fight it. And we all know what it feels like to become angry, right? And we all know how long it takes us to recover from being angry. Some more than others, some less. when we start connecting the dots, we know that we reside in our heart minds. We know that we are pure, deep, eternal love. We know that we are the highest power and energy that ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. We know that we do not die as the gods that we are in these bodies. These are the beginning steps of understanding who and what we are. This has nothing to do with being powerful in an ego mind-based world, or being manipulative, controlling, dishonest, greedy, all of those things. That's the old earth. And needless to say, we have decided that that class is over. And the new class is the new earth. You could be in silence, right? You got everybody around you talking, zooming and everything, making comments, making judgment calls and all this stuff. Supposizing, guessing, estimating, all the whole 9 yards. And you're just you're in the heart mind. Okay? And it's kind of like you're not really deeply listening to all of this chatter, right? What should be done, what shouldn't be done. And then finally someone notices you there. It says, why aren't you talking? And you go, I'm just watching. Where's that going to get you? I'm learning. You're my teacher. Watch what happens. Okay? When you, when we are around children at times, and instead of being an adult around the child, you become the student of the child. You know why? Because the child hasn't been marked and stamped with a true personality. We're talking 4 or 5 years old, or character. And has not yet been completely programmed with other people's thoughts. Those are some great teachers right there. It doesn't mean they know they're the teacher. Okay? It's like everything around us. How come you're not making a comment? I'm watching. I'm listening. See, then their ego minds get disturbed, and then they start looking at you as like, oh, you think you're better than us. You've ever had that happen? Just because you're just sitting there calmly and not saying anything? They get nervous. They immediately, the ego mind gets insecure. Just says, well, who are you to not say anything? I'm not interrupting my teachers. I'm learning every step of the way in this life. And that comes from the heart mind. That does not come from the ego mind. That's a guarantee. There's certain things that we as we become more receptive to the gods that we are in these bodies, these are the things that start taking place. Where something would get you really, really, really upset and red-faced, doesn't anymore. Or something that someone would say towards you, write towards you, or respond towards you would get you upset, doesn't anymore. And anger, the best way to describe anger is love under pressure. Because the majority of the people on this planet don't know what love is. Now you imagine that all of us on this planet came to a point, right, where when we would greet each other, we would say, I love you. And no one would be insecure through the ego mind thinking that that was a what? A sexual statement towards them. Right? And why is that reason? Why does that come up? Because we've been taught that sex is bad. That it isn't fun and good, it's bad. And so that's why so many people sneak around and do horrible things. It's all conditioning. By surrendering, guess what you're doing? You're dumping your hard drive. Right? Let's call it the organic system. You're dumping it. You're dumping all of other people's thoughts. You're surrendering to all of it. And you're embracing the God that you are. That's as simply put as it can be. So then what happens that then in that understanding, where you can look at something through your heart mind and say, this is what I desire. And you say it with perfect confidence, peace, joy, trust, faith in yourself and the universe. It's like it's just pure. And then in that state, it begins to manifest immediately. We've all learned great lessons throughout the ages as a people. We have learned that conflict is highly destructive. War, hatred, overindulgence. These are all the ego mind path. And we've learned in this existence that that is not who we are. That is not our natural state of being. The reason it takes so much courage and everything that you've got and everything you can muster up to surrender is because you're letting go of the ego mind. You aren't forcing it to do anything. You're letting go of it. You're letting go of the ego and the mind. You have understood that you now are moved into the heart mind. One of our biggest challenges on this planet and these bodies is to master the ego mind. You then begin to understand why. Mastering the ego mind it means that you've surrendered to the God that you are. Do you believe that the God that you are, the pure essence of creation, is controlled by the ego mind? No. You, the body, are controlled by the ego mind, but not you, the God. Do you believe that conflicts on this planet for thousands of years are through the God that you are? It's through the ego mind. Competition, right? Winning, right? Controlling, power, gaining power, wealth, abundance. And it's never enough. Ego mind. What possesses other parts of us to destroy the bodies we're in? Ego mind. What causes you to become very angry, which sucks you down into the lower frequencies? Ego mind. Now, you can look at something right? Here's a test for you. During the course of your day, if anything that you come upon or that comes upon you, you get that feeling, you know what I mean? Kind of it's a little bug, and that feeling is irritable. It's irritation. It's irritable. You get irritable, a little irritable, right? And at first, it's not a big deal. It's kind of a little light irritability. And instead of just, not addressing it or anything, just let it grow and let it go and let it go. So something happens. It's like a catalyst, right? It takes you into a deeper level of irritability. So you can see what's happening step by step. Your frequency is being lowered by you. Nobody else, you. And then you go to the third stage of irritability, and now you're really irritable. You're affecting everything around you and everyone around you, right? And if they were to say to you in this mode of irritability, you're affecting me, you're affecting everything in this room, they would become more irritable. They would become more defensive. See? And who's doing that? They are. And if you shared that with them, the softest possible way, they would become more defensive, more irritable. You're actually feeding the very things that they don't enjoy experiencing. Isn't that amazing? And none of us are exempt from it. But when you surrender to the God that you are, the pure essence of love, bliss, joy, that doesn't creep in. It never has a chance to manifest. So it never is. In a state of gratitude through the heart-mind, everything that you desire is already yours. But what's the intervention with that? Ego mind. Ego mind causes you to push all of it away. Which then, what does it do? It begins to creep in, and it begins to agitate you. Frustration, disappointment, anxiety, stress, fear at varying degrees is called suffering. Because the things that we desire to come into our lives is already there. We are blinded through the ego mind, and we believe that it isn't. So we negate the abundance that comes from the universe that's part of us because we don't see it, we haven't experienced it, and we keep pushing against something we already have. We find things that increase the disappointment, agitation, lack of patience, lack of belief, lack of honesty to oneself. And we build this throughout our lives. And then it becomes a knee-jerk response. If something comes in, you become irritated. And then sometimes at that point, you get to the understanding where you go, I don't really care to engage this energy because I know I've had many rounds with it. I know where it goes. I'm choosing to surrender all of this and let it be just as it is. Many people throughout the ages have said to themselves, Why isn't this changing? Why does it always seem to be the same or get worse? You ever said that yourself? And it's happened throughout the ages, through our ancestors. It's because we haven't surrendered to the gods that we are. This is not religion, by the way. This is totally beyond religion. This is spirit. This is God country for us to discover for ourselves. It's like you come across a creature, right? Creature looks like it's been injured. Okay? Now, it doesn't trust itself, this creature. And therefore, it cannot trust anything outside of it. It looks at everything with anger. And it also looks at a helping hand as an intrusion, as something that will harm it. So when you reach out to comfort this creature, it attacks. It tries to harm you. That's the ego mind. Always insecure. Always seeking protection. Always seeking complete guarantee. Always seeking comfort zone. Always not trusting. Has low self-esteem, has low confidence. Kind of answers many things. Is the ego mind enemy? No, it isn't. Probably our greatest teacher to discovering the gods that we are in these bodies. So when I talk a whole bunch about the ego mind is what holds us back from our discovery of the gods that we are in these bodies. And it is our choice, each of us, to decide to surrender to the God within, and the ego mind fades off into the sunset. And you know, it's interesting. You know what the ego mind is? You've got to prove yourself, right? You've got to strive to be successful. You've got to win. You've got to control everything. You have to direct everything in your life. You've got to look a certain way, be a certain way in order for people to like you in your life. It's always about being accepted. For the majority of this civilization, always about being accepted into the society. Always striving so the society will pick you and embrace you into it. Always worrying about this acceptance. Always wondering. And you'll know when you are completely free that none of that exists with you anymore, that it has fallen by the wayside. Because you discover that you are the God in that body, and that's all there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. That you are divine perfection, that you never change. You're the only thing that never changes. And then people would say, why does everything change? Why does everything outside of us change? So we can learn and experience. At the same, some of you have watched the movie Groundhog Day, right? Imagine and you saw what happened there when every day was the same, identical as the day before. And you got to the point where you knew that you couldn't die. Okay? You knew that if you drove a truck off a cliff and it landed in the ravine and it blew up, you knew that you would wake up the next morning in the bed. Nothing done to you. You knew that you could take all the money you wanted, you could steal it from the Brinks truck in a small town, and you would wake up in the morning, and you wouldn't be in jail, and you wouldn't have anything. Every single day, replay, 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 replay. Now, would you learn anything after a while? No. But do you believe you would get bored to tears? Yes, you would. So this is why we, collectively, everything outside of us is constantly changing. The gods that we are never change. So we create to experience. And a lot of these creations surprise us. Right? Now, in the event everything in your life, this life, was a piece of cake. You knew everything was going to happen. You knew, okay, so I know that I'm going to go to bed tonight, I'm going to get up in the morning, and this and this and this and this and this and this. Right? And it's just repeats. It's just everything. There's no challenge. There's nothing that comes up that you choose to look at and understand. You realize how bored we would be? I mean, we would be just bored completely. So you start reviewing and looking at the reasons that things take place is simply in this big movie, this big Broadway play that we've created, is created so that we can experience. Through experience we learn. And we include many teachers along the way. They come in. Could be for 2 minutes or 20 years. They come in. They're teachers. We do the same. So it's highly interactive, right? You could sit and watch a tree through the 4 cycles on this planet. You can see the tree vibrant, alive, colorful, wonderful, right? Totally. Shade, birds singing. And then you come to another cycle, which we call winter, and the tree looks dead, totally dormant. But the tree still has beauty. It takes on a different appearance. It's like everything. You remember when you were a child, everything was huge. Huge. Adults were huge. And everywhere you went, it was huge. And then, as you became, quote unquote, an adult, you remember this ravine in the back of the house. And when you were a kid, it was huge. You could play out there for hours. And then as you come back and you look at it and you go, it's just a little ditch. Wow, have things changed. I don't even recognize this place. You ever done that? Because everything is changing because it isn't real. The only thing that's real in all the universes is the God that you are in whatever physical form you're inhabiting. That's the only thing that's real. You think this universe is real? It's contrived of energy waves, which then move into hologram, whatever you want to label it. Why? Who created it? The collective consciousness created it. The one supreme consciousness, which we're all of. We can't be alone. We can't. We're one. And when you go inside that body, so to speak, and you embrace the God that you are, you'll feel a warmth beyond imagination. You'll feel a contentment, a deep eternal love, a total peace. Why wouldn't we, all of us, begin to go within and stay within? That's why I say it takes tremendous courage. It takes everything we have to surrender to the gods that we are in these bodies. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Begin your journey today by breathing consciously. With each inhale and exhale, feel the life living inside you. Breathe and feel the air moving in and out continuously. Notice that it does not stop. Breathe consciously for a few minutes, or until you feel something open and expand inside you. Notice what is your experience of life. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. And Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Reverse Aging health call. Love yourself immensely. Be kind, gentle, generous, and humble with yourself, and always in deep gratitude.